It's over! Oh my god. Yeah. So that was 50 Days of Narration with Men at Arms by Terry Pratchett, and I am not likely to do something like this ever again, or at least anytime soon. So I just thought I'd take this opportunity after this book to break down, like, various stuff, like why Discworld novels in general, and why this particular Discworld novel, and break down some of the more technical aspects of this particular recording, because 50 days continuously recording this was not a great idea in terms of time, because it took a lot of time, but we'll get to that soon. And so let's start with, why did I want to read this particular Terry Pratchett novel? Well, I started this a week after Terry Pratchett's death, after dragging my heels on doing something like this, anything like this with any of the Terry Pratchett books. Dragging my heels on it for the longest time because I wanted it to be perfect, you know. I wanted it to be great. I wanted to do perfect British accents, which I have not actually gone into studying at all. Maybe I should, because that's become a bit of an annoyance that a lot of auditions are asking for certain kinds of accents, and I can't do them because I don't do accents, except for a little Russian, but it's not really Russian, or it's just strange vowel sounds that sound vaguely Eastern European / Russian, because nobody really knows what they sound like over there, because racism or something, I don't know. But after Terry Pratchett passed away, and, you know, it just seemed like life is too short to wait around waiting for something to be perfect before you start doing it. So just do it. Just do it. That's a lesson we should all learn. Just do it, you know. If you want to go swim with the sharks, you know, just dive in the ocean and swim with the sharks. Don't do that. Don't swim with the sharks like that. Maybe a little bit of preparation, you know, maybe a little bit of preparation. But waiting for things to be perfect is probably to the detriment of your art and your passion, as opposed to just taking it on and trying your best at that point. And, you know, maybe in the future, I will redo this entire redo this entire thing. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe another novel. Just, I've done this, and I can leave it behind, and I'm not going to pull a George Lucas and try and redo everything. Now, why this particular Discworld novel? Well, this is one of my all-time favorite Discworld novels. The City Watch series of novels are just great in general. I just picked this one because it's around the time it gets good. There was a previous novel to this, to the City Watch series, Guards, which introduces all the characters properly. And it was just basically Vimes, Carrot, Nobby Nobbs, and Colin, and Sybil. Not Sybil Vimes, that's her name after Sybil Ramkin, and Vetinari, of course. But I decided to go for the second novel because that's when things get really good, I feel. This is the start of the... Yeah. And it only gets better with each subsequent novel for the City Watch. And I just love all the characters. It's a great ensemble cast, from the bitter old Vimes who still believes in the values of truth and justice, to the simple-minded deviousness of Carrot, to the mathematical detritus, to the morphic state challenged Angua, to the casually criminal Nobby, to the well-meaning but flustered Fred Colin, and of course, Vetinari and Death. Vetinari will really come into his own in subsequent novels. He's pretty cool here. I mean, in terms of like ruling from behind his desk and being devious that way. But later novels actually have him up and about and wandering the world of Ankh-Morpork with his demons, especially in the novel Jingo. And that's really different to see, like this not megalomaniacal, because he's not megalomaniacal. He's just very efficient about doing everything, including running a city. And he takes that organization skill to wherever he goes in Jingo. I'm not going to spoil that for you, but it's good fun. And of course the character of Death, who actually has his own series of novels, and he's only lightly touched upon in this novel. And I don't know if I conveyed the whole Death thing. I tried to sound like oh god, what's his name? Christopher Lee, because he was the voice of Death for a couple of the animated movies, and somebody else did him for the live-action movies. I can't remember who. Great British actor. I'm going to kick myself after. Guess I'm going to remember afterwards. Shit. But yeah, great characters in this book, and it just grows with each subsequent book. There's just more and more great characters just comes in, and not all of them are recurring characters, even though you wish they'd be recurring characters. I mean, there's Cheery Littlebottom, Dorfold, 71-Hour Ahmed, who is just so cool, John Keel, and Willikins, who's basically just a minor character butler in this particular novel, but he's great. He gets so cool, and such great characterization later on in the later novels. Just so many wonderful characters from this novel, this series of novels, and other Discworld novels, and just so many great characters in general. You know, like there's an entire series dedicated to Death. I mentioned that before, and his relatives, and a lot of the entries in that particular storyline about Death are a firm favorite of mine as well. The other reason why I really enjoy the Discworld novels, and this particular one, Men at Arms, it concisely relays a lot of ideas I agree with, like the concepts of power, justice, and the responsibility of the people who are in the position to wield both. And that's a key word, responsibility. To see and understand the consequences of the actions you take, and to remain culpable for them, and to be fair in a world of unfairness. That's a constant theme in the City Watch novels, and it just really gets wonderfully explored in this strange, weird world as well. The world is great. Mouth sounds. You've only seen the city of Ankh-Morpork. You haven't seen the rest of the weird world, and the other discs really get into that. And I say only Ankh-Morpork, but Ankh-Morpork is also a strange melting ground, melting ground? One of those words. Of different cultures, like the trolls, the dwarves, the humans, each with their own cultural hang-ups, trying to get used to this city, and that gets explored in a lot of the City Watch novels as well. That racial tension as well, which I think is getting more and more relevant in today's world, unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately. Maybe it's time we had it out. Yeah. So I've been going on and on and on and on and on about this, but I'm going to keep going on about this before I get to the technical part about the thing. But, I feel disc novels are the best kinds of books. One that provides a strange, weird humor, but also so we can see underlying social constructs and code and routine normality all around us, and realize just how remarkably strange everything is. I mean, our reality is a little weird. It's like a big house of cards, which I believe that's why the series was called House of Cards, because it's just everything's just balanced on weird political stuff that seemed like they made sense at the time, but now it's just like, no, that really doesn't make sense. Why do we believe this? Why did we construct an entire cultural society around this concept, which is no longer relevant or useful, and in fact might actually be harmful, because we're just trying to maintain this instead of moving forward with other things, other ideas, other technologies, other cultures, culture is shared knowledge, and it has to grow. It has to break through its boundaries and change with the times. And if it doesn't, it's stagnant and will probably die, unless somebody with a gun runs around saying, "No, this culture will live because I have a gun, and I will and I will kill things." And that's how I quietly lead back into Men-at-Arms. Yes. It's so deep. It's a wonderfully deep novel. What I was going to talk about? Oh, some of my favorite passages from this particular book, rather. The part where Angua and Carrot are going into the dwarf cafe, and Angua says something really inappropriate, and Carrot goes, how do I put this? They're talking in dwarfish, but listening in human. Like, yeah. That's happened a couple of times in real life for me, both on the sending and receiving end, if that's how it works. Boop. So, moving on. Other passages. The Hall of Faces. That the part where Carrot and Angua are led by Beano the Clown into that room filled with, filled with eggshells, and it's really super creepy. I mean, it's just eggs with faces painted on them, but Terry Pratchett just made it sound so spine-tingly creepy, and it's like, no, I would not want to be in that room. Other things. Day 47, where Vimes confronts Crucius with a gun, and Carrot comes and tries to talk Vimes down, while Vimes himself is also trying to talk himself down from using the gun on Crucius. That's one of my favorite passages ever. In fact, that's probably the reason why I read this entire book, because I wanted to build up and get to that particular passage. That wonderful build of tension and knife-edged tension, and it's a beautiful section. If that section took the longest time for me to edit around, because I just wanted that to be perfect, and it's still not perfect, but you just have to let it go. You just have to let that go. Nothing is going to be perfect. It's going to get really close to perfect. Maybe that's not as close to perfect as it could have been. I did it. It's done. And I should be happy and proud about that. But day 47, listen to that for a bit. And in fact, a lot of the passages leading up to that is great as well. Like, pray you never meet an evil man, because a good man will kill you without a word. And that passage just sends shivers up my spine. That's just great. I believe that's day 45 or 46. 45. I think it's 45. Other passages that I find really, really cool. Corporal Carrot takes out Mayonnaise Quark with just one anticlimactic punch, and it's just, oh yes, now you see here, and then he gets punched in the face, and it's, wish we could do that in real life, but it's a big face to punch, because there's just so much of it around, and you can't punch an entire world. Oh, and within day 47, the part about the badge has never had more dirt on it. I mean, that's just... there's so much feeling there. There's just so much... The feels. Yeah, I probably shouldn't use internet memes to describe the situation, but it was perfect for that particular part. Like, so much conveyed in that one sentence. Badge has never had more dirt on it. That's is great. So, you've heard Men at Arms by Terry Pratchett. You've heard me rant on and espouse the virtues of the Discworld novels. What other Discworld novels would I recommend, you may ask? Or you may not ask because you're tired of me talking about Discworld. But I will keep talking about Discworld because until I make you a fan of Discworld, I will never stop talking about Discworld. I'll probably stop talking about Discworld at some point, but for now I'll keep going. Other Discworld recommendations? Well, there were a series of adventure games back in the day with oh god, Monty Python actor. Come on. I'm bad at names in general, but I should know this. Eric Idle as the voice of Rincewind, the Discworld's worst wizard, and they're great fun. Really good fun. There are several there were 2 animated series, and 3 live action adaptations of Discworld novels. So if you don't want to read the books, you can find those instead. Adventure games. There was even a text adventure game way back in the day. Animated series, live action miniseries. But in terms of the books in general, I would say try books like Soul Music, which was turned into an animated miniseries, which is about rock music comes to the world of Discworld, and death has a midlife crisis. Or a mid-death crisis, one of those. There's also the novel Hogfather, which was also turned into a live-action... not also turned into a live-action. The previous one, Soul Music, was turned into an animated miniseries. Hogfather was turned into a action miniseries by the BBC. And it's about an assassin is hired to kill the Discworld's version of Santa Claus, and death has to take over the fat man in the red suit's duties. And then it gets weird. Another novel, Interesting Times. A wizard with no ability to cast spells, that would be Rincewind, is sent to Discworld's version of ancient China. Everything tries to kill him. Other one, The Last Continent. Another story about Rincewind, only this time he gets sent to the Discworld's version of Australia. Once again, everything tries to kill him. Another novel, Masquerade. Basically Phantom of the Opera and the making of the Phantom of the Opera with more witches in it. Another one, The Truth. Has that been turned into... No, it hasn't. But it should be. Ankh-Morpork is introduced to the printing press, and from there the first newspaper, and how basically news is everywhere. And it's journalistic integrity and how tabloids are made and rumors are spread with newspapers. I could just recommend every single novel on the Discworld, in the Discworld series. There's about 50 novels or so. Yeah. It's a big, large number. So I'll make this my last one. Going Postal, which was also turned into a live-action miniseries by the BBC. Ankh-Morpork simultaneously reintroduces its postal system and introduces its clack system, which is like a combination of both telegraph and the internet, and good read or good watch. You've got it in both flavors there. All right, so that's me done talking about the Discworld and the novel aspects of the Discworld. That makes sense. Whatever. And now let's talk about the technical side of the recording.